My fellow Britons, please do not reward war criminals today with your vote. I'm asking you to please have some self-respect. A vote for Labour, a vote for Tories is a vote for genocide. Do you really want the blood of Palestinians on your hands? Do you want dead civilians on your conscience? Some of you might even be thinking, well, I don't care about Gaza. I don't care what goes on around the world. Well, you better care because you're the one paying for it. And you might pay for it with your life if Rishi Sunak reintroduces conscription with no opposition from Labour, of course. Do you really want to go off and die in some muddy trench in Ukraine? Is that what you want? We've had Labour and Conservatives in government for the last 25 years. Is there a war that they didn't like? Is there anything in US foreign policy that they didn't participate in? Boris Johnson even went and prolonged the war in Ukraine and sabotaged peace talks. They put sanctions on Russia that blew up in our faces and caused inflation to skyrocket. They bombed Yemen, and now British ships are sanctioned, which will also cause our bills to go up. Foreign policy is directly connected to your welfare, as well as the welfare of others around the world. Where do you think all of your money goes? Why do you accept someone taking your money and killing people with it? Don't you want your taxes being spent on constructive things instead of destruction? Don't you want the country that you live in to prosper and bloom? Look at the state of the NHS, look at the state of the trains and the transport in this country, the telecommunication, all of the infrastructure is a mess. All the money exists, it's right there, but it's been stolen and spent on weapons. These politicians do not care about you. Labour and Tories are completely and utterly bought. They've sold themselves to corporations, to banks, to businessmen, to the United States. And they are incapable of reform. You saw what Keir Starmer did to Jeremy Corbyn. He completely gutted the left. Keir Starmer helped persecute Julian Assange with the US and destroyed his records of his trips to America. He is an enemy of journalists. Keir Starmer is an enemy of the left. And he proudly says that he is an unequivocal Zionist. He doesn't even bother to hide it. This man is an enemy of humanity. Under his leadership, Labour stood idly by and let the Tories get all their authoritarian bills through Parliament, like the Nationality and Borders Bill, the Spy Cops Bill, PCSC, and he helped to give British soldiers who commit war crimes immunity. So now we literally have two far-right parties, two cheeks of the same backside. And this far-right loves to complain about migrants who are actually refugees fleeing our foreign policy. They talk about stopping the boats, but why don't they talk about stopping the wars and the sanctions that lead to the boats, that create refugees? Your enemies are not refugees who are coming to England. Our enemies are the people who started the wars and created those refugees. And they did all of that with your money. Remember this. The brainwashing power of the mainstream media in this country is so profound that you even have British Muslims and Arabs who say that, well, I've always voted for Labour. Why should I change my vote? Shame on you. Shame on you. Today they're killing Muslims and Arabs in Gaza. Tomorrow they might kill them elsewhere. Precisely because you said and did nothing. And that's been the pattern. Have they not done this in Libya? Have they not done this in Syria, in Yemen? Haven't they done this in Somalia? Haven't they done this in Iraq? This is because of people who say, oh, I can't do anything. You don't have to be an Arab or a Muslim to care about this and be disgusted by Zionism. Go look at what Israelis did to British civil servants, to British police, to British army. They literally invented modern terrorism. Zionists put bombs all around London. How can anyone call themselves British and not know their own history? Anyone defending Zionism is defending a hateful ideology that doesn't hesitate to murder British people of any background. You have good alternatives. You've got George Galloway in Rochdale. You've got Chris Williamson in Derby South. You've got Craig Murray in Blackburn. You've got Aisha Khan in Stockport. Naveed Kalim in Stoke-on-Trent. You've got Hoz Shaifi in Westminster. Jeremy Corbyn is running as an independent in Islington North. You have real, actual left-wing candidates who are in the British Workers' Party or running as independents that you can vote for right now today. You can even do a protest vote if you want. You send in an empty ballot. But do not, under any circumstances, vote for these monsters called Labour and Tories. Do the right thing. Do the patriotic thing. Do the British thing. Please. Stand up for yourself. Stand up against tyranny.